Mafs.
Straya.
Season 13.
Episode 31.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm not now. Just for context, James had his second ever sip of Red Bull before this recording. So,
Yeah,
Had to be flat because he doesn't like the bubbles.
I really can't stand the barbels.
The barbels? Not
So-
barbells. There's no barbells in
it's
it,
hit.
man.
oh, it's hit.
It's hit. This is us at the end of the video. We've watched all of this for you so that you don't have to. You don't have to subject yourself to these crazy people. The least you could do is subscribe at this point. Costs nothing, helps us.
Yep.
You'll get to see more of us, which will help you. That's like obvious. And you'll
It's
end
our
up
gift.
38% better looking. I mean, that's a win-win, man.
Yeah.
And for the nurse and social media businesswoman, the return to home turf is
That's
being
her on the
met
side.
with
I was
a
gonna
very
say.
special greeting.
Look at his. Look at his.
That is
Beck would have just been like,
Wait, is it her?
It is her.
yeah,
Wow.
Oh,
that's me.
Yeah, well, the pressure of this homestay has
Okay.
just doubled. I didn't realize how big of a deal Alyssa was until I saw a massive poster with her face on it.
We see Alyssa on the billboard at the airport, and David does the whoa.
Yep.
They get back to Alyssa's, and they seem quite comfortable. All seems pretty good.
Yeah, so it would be very daunting to jump off a plane and see your girlfriend / wife / whatever on a poster in the airport.
Yeah, it feels
Oh.
kind of intimidating, does it not?
Well, just kind of put him in his place a little bit as to what
Yeah.
he's dealing with. But not a bad thing. I mean, hey, your girlfriend's pretty enough to be on a poster.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
As long as she hasn't got a bad attitude, and Alyssa doesn't seem to have a bad attitude, so great.
Also in Adelaide,
Oh God. Stop.
You okay?
Beck and Danny's homestay is already facing its first major test as the Melbourne-based husband prepares to meet his wife's other great love.
You ready to meet Coco?
Where is she?
We see Beck and Danny arrive in Adelaide. Beck puts a lot of emphasis on Coco liking Danny.
the big hurdle in their relationship was also seeing Alyssa on the poster as they got in.
Probably.
The emphasis was that Coco likes Danny and that they get along. Coco seemed to like Danny.
But can I just jump in for a second? We then hear from Beck, Coco never likes men. So she sort of foreshadowed this idea of the dog not liking him would be the death knell for the relationship, knowing that the dog doesn't generally like men. That's just evil. I don't know if she meant it on purpose or not, but whichever way it goes, it's kind of evil.
Yeah.
Like to put all of that responsibility on the poor Poochie, and then
Yeah, if the Poochie's disposition is that she just doesn't like males.
yeah.
It's like that
And then she can
groundhog-
blame the dog, and then she can blame him for not being liked by the dog, and she can blame everybody else except herself.
Yeah.
It's like that groundhog we keep blaming the weather on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps scapegoating that poor little groundhog.
Poor thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Beck and Danny, why don't you... Gia, cut it out, quit it. What on earth were y'all thinking? Because I'll put it mildly. The
Oh,
way to
hard to
time
believe.
for all that.
Don't wear that caffeine out.
How are you feeling about going to the farm? Like, I'm excited
You
to see
feel
the
about me
animals.
putting
Yeah,
you down.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the animals.
And then all of a sudden we had one speed bump, and a week later he wrote leave. And having him show me that he's done with the experiment kind of was a kick in the guts. Have you reflected much on like what the experts said and stuff?
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, Chris and Sam. Well, if road trip chatter is anything to go off, Sam wants to talk about the big stuff. Chris doesn't seem to think they've got anything to talk about. And it would appear from what Sam has said, once they got to the farm, that Chris just wants to have a nice week and then write leave and go home
Yeah.
at the end. So I think that's going to be the extent of Chris's conversation on the matter. It's just, I'm going to write leave, you write leave, we all get to go home. which is better than huge drama, I suppose. But it's a bit unfair on Sam, really. But Sam, dodging a bullet, man. Dodging, like, you're not just dodging a bullet, it's like dodging an intercontinental ballistic missile.
Yeah.
Just keep dodging.
We've kind of talked about it,
Very
and
well
Daniel says
response.
that because my family is here and my friends are here and stuff, that it would make most sense for him to move here.
Big change.
Is it though? I don't know.
All your friends in Melbourne?
And I've got my mates, but I can always fly back. It's less. How long's the flight? Less than an hour. Yeah,
and this is it.
An hour. It doesn't really sit well with me. Like, imagine if I was to say to Beck, come to Melbourne, and she leaves her whole family and her life, where I've not got family in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
You do have family, they're here.
Danny and Beck, any thoughts about them? Because I've got my
No,
own.
okay, and you were gonna hold them to yourself.
You're going to hold your thoughts back for a bit, James. You just keep stewing on them for a little while, because it might get out of control again.
They catch up with the family. Dad and Danny have a chat. Danny says all the right things.
Yep.
Danny knows all the right things to say, and he's clearly been raised with manners. I mean, you can just
He's
see.
not a feral.
No, he's saying all the right things to her. She's invested more than she can afford to lose. She has thrown herself into it. She has got blinkers on, and Danny has said enough. Yet it just doesn't feel. It feels disingenuous.
Yeah.
I'm going to say against what you've just said. You said we haven't really seen that much of Danny, but I think we've seen all that there is of Danny to see in this.
Okay.
Danny, I'm going to talk good about Danny for a minute. Okay. He has gone out there at the beginning, made a commitment that he's going to commit everything to the process. He seems to have done that. He's basically put up with stuff he would never put up with in the real world. He has said that. And he's done that, and he's done it really quite respectfully. He hasn't kicked off. He hasn't had fights with her as such. There's been no raised voices that we've seen, and we would have seen that. They like drama. The slightly not so good stuff about Danny is in his normal life, Danny's life is for Danny.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to deal with family. He deals with friends while they're friends, and then if they're not friends, well, we wouldn't know about them, would they? Would we? Yeah, like if someone crosses Danny, it seems they're not in his life anymore.
Yeah.
And
We saw that with Scott.
yeah, we saw that with Scott, and I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't disagree with it. But what it does mean for the outside world between Danny and Beck is that she will have a limited number of opportunities to muck up.
Yeah.
And what we've seen of Beck is she has an unlimited ability to muck up.
Yeah.
So, that's the unstoppable force and the immovable object right there.
Oh, honestly, when she told me to get down on the knee, so I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to show her that I was a pushover on the first day.
Yep.
So, I was like, no, surely she's joking. And then I looked at her and she wasn't flinching.
I couldn't believe it. People sometimes take 10 years to fall pregnant. That's the truth.
Yeah, I know, but Mum, I don't know that yet. I've never tried.
That's right. But you don't know that. So you don't have a couple of years to just take it easy and see how you go. I just see that year or two turning into 5 years or 10 because I've seen it.
Alyssa and David were still very wholesome, but the way that Beck's mum could have done it could have been...
Alyssa's mum.
Alyssa's mum could have been, honey, I know, but this just doesn't sound like a good idea, okay? And I like the way that she put it. There was plenty of better ways that I can't think of right now. Caffeine in my head, it's very much getting to me.
Okay, as far as Alyssa and David go,
Yeah.
I find it interesting that they did the scan around the living room and it was wall-to-wall photos of Alyssa, which, I mean, if your daughter's a model, right, there's a good chance there's going to be a lot of photos of Alyssa. They did all appear to be professional shots. They didn't seem to be snapshots. I get the vibe that Alyssa is an only child.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dad doesn't seem to be in the picture for whatever reason. And this idea of leaving town for a couple of years, I mean, when her mum talks about Alyssa having a family, she doesn't talk about what Alyssa wants. She talks about, and I quote, what we want. I think Alyssa's mum has invested every single bit of herself into Alyssa. And it shows.
Yeah.
Alyssa's like good. She's a nice person. She's got it all going on.
Yeah.
To wander off to halfway across Australia for a couple of years, to move to a city that your husband's not even from, it doesn't really make sense. Like, none of that makes sense. And yeah, I worry about that process, not just for Alyssa, but for the mum.
Well, for David too.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You can understand as far as they're thinking logistics.
Yeah.
Right? For his family and for them to then go to see his family to come and see them, and Alyssa's mum to come and see her, and them to go to Adelaide, right? Get that as far as a transport logistical thing. And sure, that both of them will have no problem finding work in Sydney, right? There's no doubt about that. David may find it a little harder to establish himself in Adelaide because it's not as big a city.
Yeah.
However, with her time frame on wanting to start a family, whilst that all sounds lovely, that's an incredibly big move for both of them to then have to find somewhere, find jobs, establish themselves, and that is a lot.
And like Alyssa's mum said, 3 years can turn into 5 really easily.
Really
And
easily.
5 can turn into a decade.
Yeah.
But the bigger issue is they put all of the effort into getting re-established in Sydney.
Yeah.
But with a view to having kids in Adelaide, being a young mum is not easy. Being let's face it, 40-year-old mum is even harder. And she's going to need, at that point, David to be set up.
And we didn't get fully into it with Alyssa's mum talking about getting to the point of having a baby. And people are going to look at her mum doing the whole, she's a Debbie Downer, 10 years to actually have a baby. It's not usually that bad for everyone. But if fertility issues run in the family,
She knows the gene pool.
as they tend to do, yeah, it could be a legitimate concern that it would take him more than a couple of years to
If it took
actually
mum
get
10 years
Yeah.
to have Alyssa, and then she only had one when she wanted 3 or 4, or who knows. Mum's been there, mum's felt that, mum's trying to make her daughter, who it appears has kind of been spoon-fed for a lot of her life. She might need to be spoon-fed the truth. Ooh.
I can't just float through this and be like, everything's fine. I'm pretty hurt. Like, last week, seeing you leave so quickly. It's going to take a lot to come back from that.
You're your boss, man.
Yeah, someone's molting.
Yeah, it's left me in a really, really tough place, and it really sucks because coming out of the retreat, I thought we were in an awesome place. Yeah.
So I don't know about anybody else, but on Chris and Sam, couldn't really focus on them because I was distracted by the horse.
Yep, the horse was weird looking.
There was an odd looking horse.
Yeah, it looked like a giraffe had a baby with a cow.
In a
was
way
really
that horses
wrong.
don't normally look.
That's right.
You'd think that would make sense, but for that, there was a weirdly there.
It was all very awkward.
Yeah, I mean, they had their connection moment. Which,
It was nice that they realised that the horse is a better therapist than John.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much.
Don't even have to be verbal.
No.
I mean, do we think that they're going to make it? No.
We cut this
Did
out.
not see the least, though, wouldn't you?
I can't even make out the heck they're saying.
You wouldn't want to be a night shift worker living here, would you? Me?
Oh, she's taking that personal.
Yeah.
Point of contention in mine and Danny's relationship is that in some serious situations, he will crack a joke, but I know that it's a defense mechanism.
You think he's just playing it cool?
100%.
Okay. Beck's problem with him ripping on the flight path.
Yeah, I don't get that.
In Oz, anything under the flight path is cheaper. So she's viewing that as him saying, yeah, you've got a nice house, but you bought it cheap because it's under the flight path. It's a direct slight on her her house that she's very proud of.
You know how here they changed the flight path.
Yeah, they rotate it so that no one's under the flight path constantly. But do they not do a rotating flight path in
Nope.
Australia?
No.
If you're under the flight path, man, you're there
You're
forever.
under the flight path. It's a bit like Heathrow. You can't change the Heathrow flight path. That is the flight path.
Yeah.
There's no working around that. Whereas we're out here in the countryside, and so that everybody gets a bit. What they do is they rotate the flight paths.
Everybody wants a bit of the flight path.
Right? However, places like Heathrow and Adelaide and Sydney and
Well, anyone at the end of the runway.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to
And
have...
she's clearly very close to the end of the runway.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to change that flight path.
No.
On that note, I wanted to obviously say thank you for showing me Adelaide and letting me into your world. Obviously, you've took me into your house, and that's not an
Getting
easy
your
thing
nails
to
done
do.
by your usual nail tech.
It was easy for me.
Well, some people might have found it harder, but yeah, I wanted to thank you for showing me your city.
But like if my family felt the need to have hard conversations with you, they would. But you give them a sense of comfort and stability that you give me, and they can see that.
I think obviously because Danielle fancied me, she didn't want to.
Yep, that'll do it. Yep, that'll do it.
Okay, we've got to talk about that just for a second.
Beck and Danny.
Top 10 things not to say to your insecure wife. Well, at least your cousin fancied me. Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Legendary move. Terrific joke. Wrong audience. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
He could have just said that back home with his mates.
Yeah.
And it would have landed. Beck has way too many insecurities.
Yeah.
And
That's on Beck though. That was funny.
it was. And well, but then she said to the producer, he always does this. You know, we're having a beautiful moment. It's all going perfectly. And then he cracks a dumb joke. And that's his defense mechanism to brush it all off. And
What is his defense mechanism against is her pushing for him to say I love you. That's because that's what she was doing there.
Yeah.
She was lining up. Isn't this perfect? We're in this wonderful situation. We've got the fire, got the wine, got all of that. My family loves you. My family loves you. I love you. There's a lot of love around. Adelaide seems to love you. Have you noticed how the flight path loves you? Everything loves you, Danny. Is there anything you might love? The dog loves you. Do you love the dog? You love the dog. Okay.
By
Anything else you
extension.
might love, Danny?
Yeah.
Right? And then he makes a joke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She probably said that. I forget the cousin's name. She probably said, "Oh, even my cousin Danielle, even Danielle loves you." And then he's done well. It's good she's got the hots for me then.
Yeah.
Right, because all he's trying to do is be true to himself and not lead her on, because he doesn't want, after all of this goes to air and when we end up in the reunion programs, he doesn't want her saying, "He led me on."
Yeah.
Because he knows it's really not going to go anywhere at this point because of her drama.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the real world, he would not tolerate this.
That's right.
I can't see this working.
That's what Chris wanted him to say.
Sam and I have just broken up.
Yeah, man.
And you've got a big
I
smile.
appreciate you
You
being
broke
honest.
up on
I
the-
think this is what we needed.
on the couch, dude.
Feel like, yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, bullshit.
But also, I'm actually kind of glad. It's all good. I'm not used to someone bringing out a book with like a list of questions for me. It's not how I roll. I've apologized 7 times in total for that now. Yeah.
Chris and Sam on the farm. Look, Chris, I've already been over this so many times. Who in their right mind thought that that was a good idea to actually cast Chris onto the show? It could have been everything Chris asked for, and even what he didn't know what he wanted. And that person would still not be his priority.
This is a person who's having a baby anyway, regardless. It's even different to the Gia situation where she happens to have a child.
Yeah.
This is a person who's going out there to get a child that's nothing to do with their new partner and imposing that child upon their new partner.
Yeah.
It blows my mind if I'm completely honest about it. But the other thing was, in their breakup, it was really clear. Well, 2 things were clear. One, there should have been a polygraph guy right there, because those questions were like proper polygraph questions.
Yeah.
Yes, no answers. You'll sit there, I'll sit here, answer my questions. Should have been a polygraph guy. Would have been great.
Would have been really funny.
Which is weird, but it would have been good. It was clear that Chris wasn't up for it, but his response to the breakup was overjoyed smile.
That was genuinely the happiest we've seen
We've
him.
seen him in the entire experiment.
He was relieved because he didn't want to have to do it again.
He was
so
relieved.
happy that Sam said, man, my feelings, they're gone. This isn't going to work. The relief that came over him was,
And then straight away it was
to do it.
And then straight away it was, do you want me to help you pack?
Yeah.
It was like, I've got a bin liner, I can throw all your stuff in it and chuck you in the car.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man.
I like Sam, but the whole I wish he would have fought for it more. The whole point of this breakup,
I hate that.
the whole point of this breakup is that he didn't seem like he cared enough about you. Don't get your hopes up that he's gonna fight for it. That's the opposite of what you should be thinking about.
Now, the other thing that you said during the process when he started asking the questions is just like a return to Julia.
It was a bit, yeah.
Okay, now, Julia's bi. Sam seems to be on the straighter side of gay.
All right, beautiful people.
It was hard work.
That was, yep.
That was an episode of Married at First Sight Australia.
It's interesting, really, that at the end of this particular episode, all three of the couples look to be in a worse place than at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, the shining light of this one is Alyssa and David, and Alyssa's been spiraling. Tinkerbell's rammed into a tree, right? So that's not great.
Yep.
Beck and Danny, they seem like they're over.
Yeah.
Because Danny can't help but make a joke about things, and I mean, just grow up a bit, Beck. He was lightening the mood. He needs that to process. He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You either need to get over that or just move on.
Yeah.
Because he ain't changing.
Thank you to all our new subscribers and our existing subscribers. We love you very much.
Now, there's been a bit of contention about whether or not you do actually get more attractive when you subscribe. We know you do. And if you don't think you've gotten more attractive, if you want to make that claim, I'm sorry, there's not much we can do except assure you that you are more attractive. And
how much more attractive?
37% more attractive.
Okay. If you would be so lovely as to please stop stalking, and I understand that you might not want to commit to something because you think, it might not be my thing, but it is your thing, and definitely do please like and subscribe. It would really help the algorithm out a bit. Because frankly...
Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Big to Vicky.
You feel better?
Bye.
You need a snack and a juice box, James.
Have we got a juice box for James?
No, we've got more Red Bull.
Okay.